Peace and love, y'all. It's your girl, Divine Priestess, tapping back in with y'all with more messages from Spirit. Just a little tarot wisdom with Divine Priestess. And we are going to go ahead and clear this place, clear this energy, okay? And so to the Most High, the creator of all, God, Spirit, universe, angels, ancestors, spirit guides of divine white light, I call on your unconditional love and divine guidance and spiritual protection over this space and over this reading. Allow me to be a vessel to channel your divine wisdom and guidance and call on your protection against any low vibrational being, demon, entity, evil eye, black magic, spell work, hoodoo, voodoo, hexes, or curses, and so mote it be. Ashe. What's poppin', gang? Hey, Breeski, y'all know what's up, cuzzo? Hey, Luna Soul Tarot. Hey, Roddy 2024. Thank you so much for joining the live, love. Hey, Philly Barber in Houston. Welcome to the live. Hey, Rasam Bola too. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. Hey, Crypto, Nita. Hey, I am Tyra Sierra. I hope I said that right. What's up, y'all? Look, I want to get right into it, y'all, because, man, when I tell y'all, I've been really watching just the state and the energy of the type of shit, the propaganda they're pushing in front of us that we're watching all the time on a regular basis, okay? We're watching baddies, right? We're watching, all of this, the Zeus Network type TV shows, you know what I'm saying? And don't even get me wrong, y'all. I'm not judging anybody by watching it, okay? I used to indulge, okay? And when I scroll on my timeline, it's like you see these clips and things like that. And it's like things that are really triggering, right? That's been going on amongst a lot of, the Krishan and Taseki whole thing, when there's a lot of sexual assault and all of these things that's coming to the surface, right? That's coming out. And y'all, don't get me wrong. Like, I remember when they first came out with the show, right? When Krishan and Blue, like, they had their TV show. And I remember I used to watch her and watch the show and just like, oh, you gonna be in Clearwater? Okay, cuz I will. I'll hit you up. I'm just now seeing that. But yes, for sure. Okay, you gonna be in the, all right. Put the slide. Okay. So yes, at the end of the day, y'all, it's like they've been pushing this in our face and everything like that. But like I said, I was watching Krishan and Blueface show, and like, y'all, they've been pushing Krishan in our face. And like I said, y'all, this is all, to me, celebrities are like archetypes. So I'm not talking about these celebrities from a fan space, okay? I'm not talking about these celebrities. I'm using this as an example, right? Since this is a global, perspective, as far as like everybody has their opinion, right? This is something that everybody is seeing on the global stage, right? So I'm just addressing this because it's something that we can utilize as an example to compare our everyday lives, or our neighbors, or the people that we may have grew up in our neighborhood, people that may have experienced the same type of dynamics and situations where they've been abused and things like that, right? So, like, the reality of this Krishan and Taseki situation is that they both grew up in a family where SA, right, is what they've been calling it lately. I don't know if it flags, the lies, or if it flags your page for using these terms, right? But we all know what that means. So it's like a lot of people have been witnessing, right? But the reality is that these were both young girls who grew up in abusive environments, right, where the adults around them showed them this behavior, right? And so because of this reason, okay, it's like in their minds, even though they may have felt when they were young that they were wrong, if you have all these adults come into, abuse you, right, in these ways, and you're going to get conditioned to feel like this is a normal thing to be happening, right? This is a normal thing. So you tend to like just look, because a lot of times people just trying to fit in. So if everybody in your family is abusive, right, then it's like you're the only one that's like, this shit's weird. You know what I'm saying? Then of course it's going to make you go against, right? Sometimes there's things that's going to make you go against what your own intuition feels, because in your spirit that something is not right. This is weird behavior to be happening amongst family members and things like that, right? So that's the point that I'm trying to bring to the forefront, right? Is that because of this subliminal hypersexuality, right? We overlook these subliminal programmings and these kid cartoons, right? We already witnessed the Nickelodeon, the Disney Channel, all of these different hypersexuality in the televisions, in the cartoons, in the commercials nowadays. It's like you can't even escape it, and you don't know how that's affecting the psyche of your child, right? We are sitting here and everything you turn on is the bitch twerking their ass on motherfucking your timeline. Like, you can't even go on social media without, it's like, how can you really monitor what your children are even seeing, right? It's like, let's stop acting like we can have some type of censorship really when we just give our kids our phone. We just give our kids our iPads. We just have them sitting in front of the TV, and you're not watching them 100% of the time to know exactly what their minds are filtering and what they're seeing. That talks about how these things affect the minds of the children. And so that is what the point is that I'm making, is that this subliminal hypersexuality, right, it goes into the subconscious, right, and it becomes your shadow, right, because they have us, right, kind of shun our sexuality. They don't teach us about our sexuality. All we know is like, okay, if, you know, we learn what we learn about sex, right? And some people are more educated than others, or had a better guidance system to guide them and express that information. But not everybody had the blessing of somebody coming and teach them about, you know, the proper practice and hygiene and different things that go along with sexuality, okay? So because the innocence of a child, right, and you are being exposed by adults, right, who probably are also victims, right? This is the generational curse, right? It goes and it passed on, right? And people are turning a blind eye to this shit, okay? Hey, Pretty Z, mommy, thank you so much for joining the live. Hey, Hattie Bless 13, thank you so much for joining the live. So yeah, it's like, that's what happens. You know, the adults in the family are turning the blind eye to the child being abused, okay? And then it's like embedded in their psyche that, okay, somehow this is okay. I wasn't protected as a child. I seen adults doing this to children. I thought this is normal, right? This is a subliminal thing, right? So it's like, I'm not trying to pick a side of who's right or who's wrong. They both were victims, right? But here's where, you know, the reality of the spiritual thing come into handy, right? Because it's like, if we can't take accountability when we were innocent, when we were pure, when we didn't know, when we can't go back and say, you know what, I was lacking understanding at that point. We were all abused, right? And so I was practicing something that I was seeing and that the adults in the family taught us, right? And take that accountability that, yes, even though you were victimized, you also victimize someone else, okay? Hey, Bryce, welcome to the live, love. Thank you for being here. It's been a while, right? So it's like you have to start to take accountability to heal, right? When I was watching the clips and seeing how, and I'm so proud of Krishan, right? Because you seen where she came from, and you see how she's focused on God, right? Focused on her spiritual development, okay? And you can see it within her spirit, right? In her energy, in the way she was calm, in the way that she wasn't trying to avoid the conversation. Right now, there were certain situations where they were trying to judge whether she was drinking, and these are things, these were all things that were established during these different shows where we witnessed and watched her, okay? So it's like, we're not trying to pick a side. What I'm trying to do is to show that this is the effects, right, of us being subliminally being exposed to subliminal hypersexuality, right? And then it like goes into our shadow side where we don't address it. But then behind the scene, we still have this demon, right? This spirit. Hey, Kimmy, welcome to the live, love. Hey, Sharon Lubick 76, thank you so much for joining the live. Yes, so that's what happens. It's like you become, right, you're a victim, right? But then you victimize someone else, and then your shadow side doesn't allow you to take accountability for the fact that, yes, I was a victim of sexual assault, And because I was a child when I embodied this behavior, right, I grew up feeling in my spirit that it wasn't right, but for whatever reason I was conditioned to program that it is, right? And so now here I am as an adult, and I'm not even able to take accountability for this because I've dug it so deep within my shadow, right? That now that here's Krishan bringing something to the surface that she thought would never come to the surface, right? But this is what we're faced to do, is to bring the shadows out of other people, right? We're faced to have to tell the truth and speak up and say what's right, because otherwise, right, you're not able to hold people accountable, right, for their actions. People are not able to get their lesson that they need to learn, right? Hey, Aries, great, 1906. Thank you so much for joining the live, love. But yeah, that's what happens. It's like when we speak our truth, the truth exposes, right, the things that need to come to the surface, because these things need to be healed, right? Because these are demons. These are spirits. These are low vibrational attachments, right, that come. They're attached to us as we carry along life, and then we start to, you know, like I talk about STDs, right? Sexually transmitted demons, okay? It's like if we don't deal with those demons, then we start to carry those things with us as adults. And then here we are sexually connecting with other people and passing on those traumas, passing on those things, right? And we're not healing them. And then we're creating havoc within that family, because now here we are abusing their children and passing on this shit, right? And it's like in the hood, right? It's like this hood philosophy. There's so many street codes and different things that are just traps and work against the community, right? Because it's like, oh, it's like snitches get stitches, and like when something is being done to you, it's like it's looked down upon for you to speak up and say something, right? And in this instance, right, when I was watching this Krishan and Taseki dynamic, right, some of her like younger siblings, right, or nephews, different things have come out to expose the fact that the whole family was like on this type of shit. You see what I'm saying? So he was kind of exposing the fact that, yes, like I was a young child thinking like an adult, some adult caught me in action with somebody else, and I'm thinking they're gonna save me, right? And then it's like, here comes this adult like, oh yeah, oh for real, okay, bet, go ahead and do me too. You see what I'm saying? It's like, then it's like, wow, you keep getting exposed to the fact that this is something that is faced within your family that gets the side, or gets, the blind eye. Nobody is addressing it. Nobody's healing it, right? So this is what happens, right, within a lot of families, right? It's just, the fact that these things are being put on a public platform to discuss, I think it's important, because we see these types of things happening within our community, and it be in our own family, it be in our own circumference and shit, and we just like, oh, okay, that we gonna leave that for them to have to deal with, whatever. And then you have like the people who turn the blind eye the whole time, that don't want to take accountability, right? So they want to continue to perpetuate the lie as if it never happened, or if it wasn't happening. Hey, Mississippi, thank you so much for joining the live, love. So it's just like, these are perpetuating. This is the generational curse breaking shit that we're talking about, right? If you have been in a family where there's been abuse, right? Sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, all these different types of abuses are bad, right? But this is like extreme trauma to the soul, to the spirit. You see, especially as a child, as a pure child that has no understanding of what this is. And this goes to why, this whole gay pride, parade shit, where they have these innocent, pure kids that are just young, right? They don't really know what's going on, and are being exposed to all this shit, right? Niggas walk around with they little, when you go to the stripper, the male reviews, and they got like the little rock socks on or whatever, and they just swing anything around with their ass out. They damn near half naked. It's like, and then there's babies around. You know what I'm saying? And then there's people co-signing this shit, and it's like people parading in the streets trying to create violence and havoc to people that actually got fucking sense, right? And just care about the kids. Like what y'all do and how you celebrate your pride and who you are and everything like that. That's a beautiful thing. Nobody's saying don't be proud of what you're doing, but then to expose children to something that is beyond their understanding is very irresponsible, right? It causes this mental confusion, which creates, like we talk about, the shadow side. When our mind doesn't know how to deal with something, that's where it goes, right? It goes and it gets buried somewhere, and then subliminally, or subconsciously rather, it starts to affect us in other ways, and then it creeps up, and we doing like little sneaky shit behind the scene because we're not dealing with our shadows. Hey, Noity, welcome to the live, love. Hey, Brooklyn Chick 718, thank you so much for joining the live, love. So yeah, this is a cycle we have to stop perpetuating, and and that's what it's like. The innocence of the youth is what it is. It's like we are so quick to try to make our kids be grown. We so quick to put our children out there and have them out here cussing and finding it cute and everything like that. And I understand, right? I have a sense of humor. I understand, like, kids are so innocent, so it's funny because you're like the innocence, right? But it's like you're teaching them something when you carry that type of behavior on, and they get a positive response from them doing something negative, then they're thinking that it's something good subliminally, whether they're subconsciously noting that or not. Their brains are, right? And so then they start to identify with certain things as if, okay, this is good, this is bad, because they're basing it off of the response by the adults around them, right? So if you're being sexually assaulted as a child and all the adults around you are just turning a blind eye to it, right, then you adopt the behavior in a sense, right? Or, maybe you don't, but you just partake because you're a child that's going, you don't have a choice in the matter, right? I remember, like, every black kid has heard the saying, "'cause I said so." Because I'm grown, or because you're the kid and I said shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're a child, you only have so much power. Hey, I'm not Big Keys. Thank you so much for joining the live. Yeah, children are being swiped of their innocence, right? And it's like it's a result of a lot of mental illness. Because of this innocence being swiped so young, it's a result of a lot of this mental illness and spiritual trauma we're seeing today, right? So it's like when we see all these people out in the streets protesting, like, this is the time of year to see it the most, right? Where everybody come out and they feel like they fighting for something. You see what I'm saying? And they're out here standing on what they standing for, and whether it's transgenderism, Republican, Democrat, whatever else the fucking shit is out there that they're fighting against, all of these different things. But then you see how they've created the divisiveness, right? So that way it's like we're all hating each other and not even getting down to where the resolution is really gonna be, right? If they know if there's always an argument, right, and it's like they create a new argument, a new divisiveness, right? That creates, whenever there's controversy, there's chaos. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody behind the scenes trying to pull the strings and trying to make it seem like they are the resolution to the chaos that they created, right? How narcissistic is that? Very, right? And because narcissism is on such a huge scale globally, right? And because it bleeds into the foundation of this culture, the structure that we live in, it starts to bleed on us, and we start to take on some of those narcissistic behaviors as well. You see, if we're not conscious to it, right? If we don't start to make decisions to say, "What's up, bro? Thank you so much for joining the live. Good to see you here in this space." Hey, Cupcake 90, thank you so much for joining the live, love. Yes. So it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like when it comes to us protecting the children, right? Because children are pure, they're innocent, okay? We can't allow ourselves to get into the space where we just turn a blind eye and we try to make kids so unpure so soon. It's like we want kids to be grown and make them be all mannish and and all of these different things. And yeah, it's cute and motherfuckers get kids go viral and shit like that, but it's like, what are you teaching these kids so when they become an adult, right? Well, they just gonna be another menace to society. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why looking at our children as flowers, and we are nurturing and pouring into them, you know, watering them, you know, teaching them what they need so they can become the best that they can be, versus making them, you know, materialistic, you know, things like that. Like, I remember coming up and how materialism was it was such a thing, like in school, where it was like, it's a trend. It's like, if you don't have these type of shoes on, if you're not wearing this, or if you're not doing that, then it's like you're shunned upon, right? You're not accepted because you don't have the materialistic things to make you deemed cool and things like that, right? These are children like going to school and having to be faced with people, other bullies, things like that. And it's like, if this was your child, right? Nobody wants to see their child not being accepted, not being appreciated, not being loved or taken care of in the proper way, right? But some of these children are having this experience in their own homes. Hey, Santi Messiah, thank you so much for joining the live, love. Yeah, so it's just like, we got to start looking at things like that and start to have more compassion. You know what I'm saying? Like, have more compassion. People don't have empathy these days, to where like we're seeing things happening to kids and stuff like that, and it's like they've desensitized us so much that these things don't even make us feel irate, angry. Like, we should be upset about this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we be so willy-nilly and so like, oh, okay, well, it ain't my child, it ain't my, you know what I'm saying? But it really do take a village to raise a child, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, the reality is, when you send your kids to school, right, other people kids gonna have to influence your kids too. So it's like, we don't always think about that and how we can be an influence not only to our kids, but a good influence to the other kids around us, because the youth is our future. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to pour into the babies, and we also have to protect their innocence, protect their pureness, right? Stop letting our kids be exposed to things that they don't need to be exposed to, because this is how they getting sexually assaulted and things like that when they're young, and then they go and they perpetuate that onto other kids when they get older. It's a constant cycle. Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, this big fact. Like, I'm tired of seeing the kids, you know, the minds of the children being manipulated, right? There's all these different things. Like, they even talking about how Coco Melon has these it's like it's what is it called? Overstimulation of the minds of the kids, right? And it is like, we think it's cute when Coco Melon sound plays and like all the kids are like, and they're like fucking robots and they're like hypnotized, right? But that is mind control, baby. That's not cute. That's not cute that your baby, every time a fucking sound on the TV plays, that your baby is like a fucking robot and just come out the woodworks to go run and be hypnotized by the television. That's not something that's cool. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, until we realize why these things are being used, right? It's like, you don't understand what that is doing to the mind of your child, right? Until you see the effects of it later on in life, right? Just like these vaccinations, just like all of these things that have happened, like, you know, and you got people who have had negative effects and their children have become autistic, or their children have, you know, lost ability to speak, or different things like that. Right? It's like, we be too entrusting in the system, and it's like some of these things are not necessary, and it's like, we don't have to sign on to every fucking thing that they push on us, especially if it's going against what we even believe in and things like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wanted to stay on topic, like, and I wanted to just relate this to the hood philosophies that we have, right? We all know about the street code. We all know that, you know, street code is all about, you know, what we say, snitches get stitches, right? Or, you know, it's just certain street smarts, right? That we just have this, it's like an unspoken understanding, you know what I'm saying? And this is something that I've always noticed has held us back as a culture, because this is all set as a mental trap for us, right? Like, for us to almost embody and praise poverty. I think that's really the overall thing over the hood philosophy, is that, you know, it's like you kind of praise poverty, right? It's like you praise poverty, you praise basically policy, you know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to even like the hood street code, right, it's like you're out here going to war amongst each other in the streets, but it's like y'all don't even have that type of energy for, you know, other forces that try to come and dictate and control your neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a mentality to have you controlled without you even realizing it, right? So it's like a lot of times people got to get out of this street code, you know, street mentality vibe, because it's there to trap you as well, you know. And that type of abuse. And let's think about it, right? Because let's talk about pimp culture really quick, right? Because in pimp culture, that's what has allowed us to accept this hypersexuality in our communities, because pimp culture has always been glorified and praised in our communities. We've always glorified pimp culture, and pimp culture is basically prostitution and sex trafficking, okay? And it's like now that sex trafficking is a big thing now, where we all can realize like this is wrong, this is happening on a global scale, on a political scale, government scale, like it's bigger than just being in our neighborhoods, right? This is happening on a whole nother level. But it's like when we realize that we're supporting behaviors by glorifying the music that's created based out of this culture, right? This pimp culture, right? You know, I used to love UGK, right? I love Pimp C. Don't get me wrong. It's like I grew up around all this, so I've been influenced by it myself, right? But here I am having this awakening and realizing and putting the puzzle pieces together, connecting the dots. And it's like they've embedded pimp culture into our society, especially, you know, black folks, right? The hood folks. They embedded that into our culture, right, to break down like what's important in the family dynamic, right? We're kind of the only culture that really hate against the male and like the female dynamic. I don't see no other cultures that are being pinned against each other as far as like, you know, not having like a woman not having value or a man not having value, you know, vice versa. It's like we're kind of at each other's throats in our communities. And it's because of this pimp culture, it's because of this hypersexuality culture, and because of how much it's embedded in hood shit, right? Everything that we see, right? Like when we watch the Sukihana era, and you know, it's like the sexy red era, like, you know, it's gotten extreme when we accept this type of behavior, right? And it's not like it's anything new, but it gets just more raunchier. It gets more like every, you know, I don't know, however long, where they're like, all right, we about to try and see if they're gonna accept this foolishness. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how often they decided, okay, it's time to usher in the next vulgarity, right? Because it's all about degrading your sexuality. It's all about degrading your spirit, right? And if they can bring you down to a primal root chakra level where everything is just based off of the sexual urges and you're not thinking about nothing else, right? Then you're easily controlled by lower forces. You're easily controlled, right? It's like you're easily, what's the word I'm looking for? Like infiltrated by the forces, right? It's like you open yourself up to that, right? So, yes, this goes back to the spirit of the incubus, the succubus, the Jezebel, right? It activates within the families, and it contaminates the youth with the behaviors, right? Which may have fell off, but have picked up a learned behavior, right? So that was just a note that I wrote to just kind of go into deeper of how it happens, right? Generationally and things like that. So yeah, y'all, I don't want to harp on that too much, but I keep seeing this Krishan and Taseki stuff pop up on my timeline, so I figured I'd relate it to narcissism too, though, because I want to relate it. Oh, hey, I am George Sorrell. Thank you so much for joining the live, love. The new wrong has become the right. Exactly. What the world has come to is really be saddening me sometimes, right? But it's like that's what happens when you're leveling up. I feel like the polarity of both is happening. As soon as you see the darkness, okay, the light has to balance that shit out. So it's like shit done got so dark, so now that's why all the light it's coming. You know what I'm saying? The transformation is happening, right? There's a lot of, like, even in, like, think about the music industry. There's a lot of, like, Christian rap, right? There's a lot of music about God now that I'm just loving, and not just gospel, but like that's going to reach the minds of the youth, right? The rappers and things like that, right? I'm loving that there's a new energy, right, around God, and pushing that and promoting that, and not making it something that just feels old fashioned, and making it something that feels like that younger kids can't resonate with. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been being programmed by demonic forces their whole life. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of the younger generation is, as long as the internet been around, or television done been around, they talk about Gen Z and all these different things. That's the influence on that generation to make them disconnect from the Most High, right? They want to connect us from spirit. They want us to be easily accessible to the lower forces. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we have to start taking accountability, right? When we start taking accountability for the lack of wisdom, for the lack of understanding, or take accountability for the fact that I was abused when I was a kid, when I was innocent, when I was pure, when I didn't know no better, right? And because of that, I'm just learning now that wasn't right. Just like Krishan was saying in the thing, she was like, at 7, we were 7 years old. She was like, when I became older and realized that house is not a game for 7-year-olds to be playing, right? And that house is not even a real thing, right? This is a manipulation tactic to abuse little kids. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. It's like Krishan mentioning how, that was real, that was raw, that was saying, look, I'm not trying to criticize you for the fact that you did that, right? You were a victim too. But see, it's like Taseki didn't want to have that conversation and take that accountability, because she didn't want to be looked at, right, in the media as this person that abuses little kids and things like that. Like, who wants to have that conversation exposed to the world, right? But at the end of the day, right, accountability is what is going to allow yourself to heal from that matter. And everybody involved knows the truth, knows what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's what goes back to the narcissism aspect. Because it takes, like, that can even create narcissism. If you've been sexually abused, you probably have narcissistic tendencies, okay? That is an extreme trauma. A lot, it's like, if you've been abused by the people that's supposed to protect you and love you, that is going to create a trauma response where it's like you have to create, this type of protection mechanism that sometimes create narcissists, right? The new wrong has become the right. It's the parents nowadays. They need to start being more mindful and present with their children. Yeah, right? Because a lot of times all we do is just send our kids off to school, right? And then they come home and it's like we're not teaching them nothing like that. We're just kind of like, okay, making sure, did you read the curriculum that was given into you, you know what I'm saying, when you was in school, today? We're not guiding our children and reprogramming them or finding out, okay, so, or restructuring what they've learned. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know when I was in school, when I would be in history class, right? Because my family actually, like my grandmother, she was very well read. She had libraries in every apartment, every home she's ever lived in. And, I was exposed to a lot of wisdom and information at a younger age, so like, when I ran across information in history that went against what I learned from home, right, I was able to adjust, right, because I knew that, okay, not everything that I learned at school is going to be the truth. Not everything that I learned at school is going to be, to the better benefit of me being more wise, me being more intelligent. Sometimes what we're learning in school is to teach us to continue to be programmed. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and if you're not being able to be that vessel for your children to like channel knowledge and wisdom into them, to empower them, so that way it's like they know more than just what they know at school. Like, y'all, I know some very book smart people that don't have any type of street smarts, no common sense whatsoever, right? And it's like, it's really be hard to believe, like, bruh, like, it's hard because it's like then you start to realize like, damn, common sense ain't so common. And then, so you're sitting here trying to figure out why people's behaviors are certain types of ways, things like that. Like, you realize not a lot of people actually have common sense. Not a lot of people actually see things from the perspective that you see them, right? Or especially if you're somebody that has like philosophical or like moral grounding, moral compass and things like that, where you stand for something, right? And it's just like, sometimes it's just hard, right, to see people's narratives or rhetoric around certain things, and you'll just be like, how did you come up with that? How did you come up with that? Okay, I guess common sense is not that common nowadays. Big facts, okay? So these are the things why it's like, I feel like these conversations, I like to have these conversations because I be like, you know, thinking that my opinion, right? Because, you know, it's my opinion, right? But it's a very well-educated opinion. I'm very well-read, very intelligent, right? So it's like, I'm coming from a place, not only just from a book smart place of reading information, but I'm also coming from a place of wisdom, experience, right? I know from me going through life. You see what I'm saying? Hey, JoJo the Celebrity, thank you so much, baby. Right on. Hey, Chameleonaires, welcome to the live, love. So yeah, it's like, you know, when you're coming from a place of wisdom, you know, it's like you have to take in information and also not only apply the book smart aspect of it, but like you said, apply the common sense. There's levels, right? There's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we not connecting the dots the right way to make this shit make sense. You see what I'm saying? Now, and then also too, in the politics realm, right? How y'all feeling out there, right? How y'all feeling out there? Y'all happy about Trump, or is y'all sad? You know what I'm saying? Because you know how I feel, right? Trump or Kamala ain't gonna save you, baby. So it's like, either way it go, I'm cool, right? I didn't get wrapped up into the politics, you know. I rarely do. But I pay attention, you know, in a sense of just being able to see through their bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like I see through the subliminal programming and everything. And like I said, whether it's Trump or Kamala, right? Which I'll be honest though, I did feel a little bit, it's like I did feel a little bit better about Trump though being the president, because just of the fact that how things went in 2020, and just it felt like the fucking Twilight Zone. It's been feeling like that ever since 2020. It feels like, you know, it feels like a timeline jump. Like, how do we go from 2020, it's damn near 2025 that fucking fast? It's because they fucking took away damn near 2 years of our fucking lives, right? And so the reality is, right, here we are, it's 2000, about to be 2025. Hey, why are you this way? Thank you so much for joining the live, love. So here we are in 2025, right? And Donald Trump is the president again, you know, but like I said, 2020 up until now has been the Twilight Zone, right? Motherfuckers enforcing this and that, like the smart cities is popping up everywhere, like things that jeopardize freedom is right in our face all the time. Like, and I felt like it was very, very like bully like, you know what I'm saying? When they came into office, it felt very bully, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, either way it goes, like I said, I don't fall for the politics because it's one government. Yeah, it's just one government, but they put one face or the other to appease, you know. It's not even appeasing, because if one side get what they want, the other side don't. So there's always somebody fucking mad, right? It's always somebody in shambles, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, for some reason, after every election year, right, we realize that they don't never do the shit that they say they're gonna do, and it doesn't really matter who's the president, but then you still get caught up in the rhetoric and the conditioning, and you still, you know, on Instagram talk about, go vote, don't complain if you don't vote, and all this corny ass shit. Like, you really thinking you make a difference, but the only way you're really making a difference is if you working on yourself, building your life, passing on generational wealth, right? Creating good quality, righteous, right, integrity, ambitious, driven seeds, right? And so whether that's you putting in, procreating, right, and building up, that's how we create, right? When we create more healthy mentality, spiritually, physically human beings, right? When we create that, more of those into the world, that's how we filter the world out of the motherfuckers that's making the world go to fucking shit, right? So it's like inadvertently, when we become better, if we in unison decided today that we were all going to become better people, right? Be more compassionate, treat people better, treat ourselves better, then just automatically the world would become better in that fucking instance, right? What the world is based on what makes up the world, which is us. Okay, so that's why we have to switch up the conditioning and switch up the programming, and we have to realize that we're being subliminally hypersexualized. We're being subliminally triggered to be violent, to be hateful, to work against each other, right? To not build each other up. I believe he's at least gonna try to release the money train for the people to make the economy more better. But it's ultimately up to us to make that change, though, too. Yeah, big facts. You see what I'm saying? All of that matters, and it's like, that'll be awesome if things become better under his, presidency. But like I said, we got to stop praying and hoping that somebody's going to come into office that's really going to make a difference when the proof is in the pudding. We've seen over and over again that there's no positive change regardless of who is in the presidency. So that's why it's like, we got to work on self. We got to work on our connection to the Most High, because that's the only thing that really makes a difference on the status and the quality of life. Okay. So yeah, on that note, y'all, I'm gonna pull a few cards and see what Spirit has for us. Okay. Yes, I hate when I do that. Hey, King Brown 7402, thank you so much for joining the live, love. So yeah, let's see what Spirit has for us today. So we got the Devil. So we had Judgment, Ace of Pentacles, and the Devil, right? So with the Judgment card, this is all about answering the call, okay? And you answering the call is going to lead you to this place of abundance, right? Because this is all about career. This is all about opportunities like financial stability, things like that. So this is like new beginnings in financial stability, okay? So, but this is like with the Devil, right? This is like a matter of you detaching from things that are holding you back, right? That can block you from this blessing, from this opportunity, okay? It's like when we're attached to unhealthy things, a lot of times it will get in the way of blessings and opportunities that Spirit is trying to bless us with, that's trying to awaken us and say, hey, look, I'm trying to show you this, right? But it's like, because you are prioritizing things that aren't even in alignment with you, honey. You're prioritizing things. This could be toxic lovers, friendships, right? This could be you working somewhere that you fucking hate. You see what I'm saying? This could be you being attached to bad habits, okay? Being attached to things that like is standing in the way of your success, okay? So, but this is you, right, answering the call. So this is just showing that you're ready to detach and release the things, so that way there isn't anything blocking your blessings, okay? And you're taking on that new journey. You're going ahead and deciding that you're moving forward, right? You place judgment and said, I'm not going to stay stagnant. I am growing. I'm moving forward, okay? And I'm answering the call, right? It's like when you follow your intuition, you let your guides show you, right, in the situations, and when you're going through life, right, things will dawn on you. That's why we talk about synchronicities, right? We talk about all of those things. We pay attention to that, so that way we can be, inspired, and we can see, okay, this is kind of like when you're looking at your GPS system and you have multiple routes, right? And it's like, oh, this route's going to take 5 minutes faster, so choose this route if you want to get there 5 minutes faster, okay? So this is you deciding, being able to choose, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to focus? If you want to take this route that's 5 minutes faster, you're going to release this old route, right, that has these attachments, these things on it, right? And then it's going to catapult you forward, right, into this blessing. All right. Yeah. With the King of Swords, so with this coming underneath the Ace of Pentacles, this could be one thing, right? This could be somebody coming in that is a suitor. That could be an Aquarius, a Gemini, a Libra. This could be somebody that could come in, right, that is going to either provide this business opportunity for you, okay? Or this could be somebody that could be the negative attachment, okay? But it's looking like, because it's under the Ace of Pentacles, this looks like somebody that you're going to be able to actually build with, right? This may be, like I said, a business opportunity, a business partnership type of deal, right? So that's the beautiful thing. Yeah, with the Hierophant, right, this is all about the like a spiritual. This could be, with this being under the devil, though, what I'm seeing, the Hierophant underneath the devil is very much using your power for like people, right, abusing their power, okay? So, you know, this could be something that you're avoiding, right? If you're avoiding doing partnerships with people, right, who will abuse your power, abuse their power, right, or use their spiritual authority, right? I just was talking about this on my last live. We were talking about spiritual dictatorship, okay? The Hierophant underneath the devil is very much giving that, where people are using their spiritual gifts and not for the benefit of good, right? It's for the benefit of manipulation and things of that sort. Hey, L Waits 30, thank you so much for joining the live, love. So yeah, this is very much about, you know, people using their spiritual gifts, right, for negative, right? They're not using it for God. They're using it to manipulate and deceive, okay? So this is you avoiding that. This is even you possibly cutting ties to people who you notice utilize this energy, right? They try to use their spirituality, but it's coming from an ego base. It's coming to be like a fucking cult leader. You see what I'm saying? Instead of like really trying to guide people to God, you really trying to guide people to boost your ego and stroke your ego. Bohemian Grove. Right, exactly. On some coach shit. You see what I'm saying? And like with the Eight of Swords is very much like this was like either you were blinded, okay? Or this could have been a lot of confusion surrounding, right, this call, right, that you answered to go on this journey, right, for this business opportunity and things like that. But hey, sometimes it's hard to be blinded, right, when you don't always know, right, which is the right option or decision to make, because when you have these type of people involved, they're very deceptive, very manipulative. They are very well versed too. These are people that know how to use God or use religion, right? We talked about spiritual dictatorship, and they'll take it and spin it and use it against you to make you feel like you don't even know God, right? So this is what this is about, right? This is people around you, people that you may have dealt with in the past, or this is people that you're walking away from, right? That have tried to cause confusion to make you feel blinded, confused, like you don't understand, right, what God is to you, right? But these people are the devil in essence, right? These people are the ones that be placing judgment, but then they don't even have any type of ritual. They don't even pray. They don't even, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on now, people be placing judgment and they haven't even answered their call, right? You've always answered the call. You've always been in alignment with the Most High, okay? And not everybody could really understand or see that at some point, but it wasn't for them to see, okay? So yes, with the moon, it wasn't for them to see, okay? The moon, but at the same time, it's been exposed, right, at the divine timing, okay? With the King of Swords, this is somebody who stands in their truth, okay? So this is like the moon is all about the truth becoming exposed, okay? Being the truth coming to the surface, coming to the light, okay? So if there's been any deception, right, trying to stand in your way of any business opportunities, any financial opportunities that will create stability into your life, or any miraculous blessing, right, that could be coming into your life, that somebody could be trying to practice some type of magic, right, black magic, trying to do things, spiritual attacks, evil eye, doing certain things to try to hinder your growth or hinder for you from receiving your blessings and things like that, right? Okay, but this is you, right? The King of Swords don't play that shit. The King of Swords airs it all out. The King of Swords stands on truth and he cuts shit off when it ain't, you know what I'm saying? If it's not rooted in truth. So yes, with the Empress, y'all, this is all about fertility and abundance, and this is about your ability to create and cultivate, right? So with this being underneath the devil, right? So it looks like we have the devil, then the Hierophant, and then the Empress, right? So what I'm seeing with this is that you have this ability, right, to create. You are a fertile being. You are tapped into the Most High. You are connected to Source. Okay, and with the Hierophant, this shows that you have divine wisdom and you are knowledgeable. You are a teacher. Okay, this is you. You've overcome a lot of positive negative attachments rather from your past, and this has given you this spiritual ranking, right, to where now you are this Empress. Hey, Cuzzo, welcome to the live, love. Thank you so much for being here, cuz. Miss and love you. So yes, y'all, the chariot is all about fast movement, but also about being that balance, right? Balance. A lot of times we don't realize that we live in a world of polarity, right? There's always going to be the contrast. It doesn't matter how perfect you are. It doesn't matter how blessed you are, or how pure you are, or how good, you treat people, right? There's always going to be the contrast of polarity, right? So people always tend to base, their quality of life, right, on how much darkness or how much light they may be experiencing in their life, right? But the reality is, when you realize both sides are you, right? You possess both sides, and it's about how you transmute that darkness into light to work for the betterment of your, your life, your vitality. Okay. Hey, Man Walt and Awaken Crane, thank y'all so much for joining the live, love. Yeah, this is all about that therapy. Hold on, let me grab these two cards. Yeah, like this is all about you, right? Going in, doing whatever you need to do, gain the rest, the therapeutic. Like therapy is all about going through the mind. You know how they always show people, right, in the therapy chair, sitting back, and like there's the therapist always there, right, just asking the most simple, basic ass questions, right? And then they just sit there and they just nod. They don't really say shit, right? And it's always the person that's sitting there regurgitating to them, right? And just talking about whatever their trauma, right? They're basically activating, right, certain questions, certain things in the mind that bring this awareness to the surface that there is something that needs to heal, right? But until they're faced with the questions that the therapist asked, sometimes they didn't even know that trauma was there, right? So this is what this is about. You going in and asking yourself those proper questions to realize, like, whatever trauma could have been came from being attached, the attachments. A lot of times we have attachments to people, places, and things. Whatever those attachments are creates chaos, creates situations in our lives, okay? And so we do be needing therapy to recover, okay? But as long as you have the balance, right, and you also become decisive about your next move, make your next move the best move. You see what I'm saying? I love your mind. You're real mindful. Thank you so much. Mindful, very demure. Thank you, baby. I really appreciate that, okay? So, yes, with the Four of Wands, right, this is you processing those questions and things like that, and then also making a decision with the Two of Swords, okay? Because a lot of times when we have this balance, right, we need to decide how are we going to utilize and transmute this energy to shift it so I know how to move forward in the best way, right? Move forward in the best way. So it's like I move forward instead of going 10 steps back. You see what I'm saying? Because whenever there's a shift and there's a change, right, we don't always know where that change is taking us. And it's like we don't want to feel like we've digressed in our journey, right? So we need to process these things, okay? With the Ace of Cups, it's new beginnings and wish fulfillment, okay? The Ten of Wands and the Page of Swords, okay? So what I'm seeing is like, yes, now that you've had this healthy space, right, where you've did this, right, because the Four of Swords Hey, Deed. I'm sorry, I ain't even about to try to pronounce that. Welcome to the live, love. Okay, so 4 of the swords and the 10 of wands underneath that, right? So what I'm seeing is that, yes, you asked the proper questions and you came to realization of what those burdens were that you need to lay down, right? To usher in this new wish fulfillment, right? This was you being decisive and taking those steps, right? This was you deciding that, hey, I am going to move forward with a new perception, okay? But what I'm also seeing is that, yes, these type of people could have very well been the burdens, right? Blocking you from this emotional fulfillment, right? Because it's like maybe you cared about people, what they say. You care about, their views of you. You see what I'm saying? And that was the burdens that you were holding by being too concerned about other people's perception of you. The gossip, right? Whatever lies that may have been spewed about you, you could have cared, or maybe you didn't give a fuck, okay? But like with the Hierophant, it's all about propaganda and things like that. So like most people who are under propaganda, they're conditioned, you know what I'm saying? They're programmed, you see what I'm saying? So it's like if you have somebody come in talking, like a lot of these people walk up and they talk like they know what the fuck they talk about because they're fucking pathological liars and fucking sociopaths and shit. So a lot of these people will come and they be lying like a motherfucker, right? But because they're professional liars, right, you may not even be able to sense that the shit that they talking about ain't even the truth, okay? But this is you laying the burdens down, right, of gossip, of whatever. People can say whatever the fuck they want, baby, but it's like you're the empress, right? So it's just like, baby, I'm just going to continue to sit back and be in this goddess energy. You see what I'm saying? It's like you can't be concerned, okay? Because it's like you're not letting them get in the way of you breaking generational curses. And that's what this is about, right? You create generational wealth within your family, okay? Healing the generational curses in your family. So you're in that place where, yes, you found this fulfillment within self, right? You stopped looking right outside of self. You found that balance within self, right? And since you found this peace of mind by having this emotional peace, right? This emotional stillness, your cup overfloweth, right? What do they say? Like that really gives me that feeling of like a warm, when they say my heart is full, or my heart is warm, or whatever, right? This is that feeling of wholeness, right? Of contentment, of, not seeking any type of validation or completeness through other people. This is from you. And with this being underneath the Chariot and the Ace of Cups, right? This is how this balance and this stillness within, right? And you being able to see it from a mile away when people are trying to plot against you and create havoc within your journey, right? To keep you away from this, right? You're not entertaining that anymore. You're not letting people get in the way. You're the magician. So you're very charismatic. You know how to speak to people. You know how to communicate. So you can maneuver through situations when you can easily see that people are trying to sabotage you, but you're like, baby, this is what I'm working on. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. About none of that shit. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. About none of that shit. Okay? I'm all about this, baby. If you can't bring me no peace and contentment, okay, emotional fulfillment, happiness, right? If you can't bring me peace of mind and bring me someone that is able to manifest stability and like family, and like you actually have that, that nurturing side of you, right? You love children, right? You want to create like that. It's that dynamic, right? Where peace and love, like, where they say home is where the heart is, right? That's that rosemary got in there. But yeah, that's exactly where, that's the type of peace and the type of space that, you're creating in this new timeline. Hey, A Dream Rocks, welcome to the live, love. I hope you have fun. I know it's been a while since I've seen you live. I hope you have fun at that concert, girl. Hey, Adelia Bastos 404. Thank you so much for joining the live, love. So yes, Wheel of Fortune is all about the karmic wheel spinning the block, okay? The karmic wheel is what comes around when it's like you've served your karma, right? You've done what you were supposed to do. You did your due diligence, and now God is spinning the block to show you that every seed that you've sown, okay? Every seed that you have sown will come back to you tenfold, okay? So this is what this is all about, y'all. So this is a beautiful reading, okay? And I really, really, really love how this reading ended. I'm gonna grab some advice from the angels, y'all, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this reading up, y'all. But I really appreciate y'all. I always do. Y'all know I do. And like I said, don't forget, y'all, it's the holiday season coming up. So like, if you guys are wanting to get something for, you know, your youth, your children, or something like that, or maybe even just for yourself to journal, okay? I have my Goddess Gang journals available. The links are in the bio. Hey, Marley, I need you to hush. I'm doing something. You need to wait. Come over here and lay down. Yeah, so I want you guys to check those out. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a great stocking stuffer, okay? And let's see, what do we have? What do we have, angels? What do we have as the last message for this reading? What do we have, angels? All right. So we have purpose, okay? So become a shooting star. If you don't know what you should be doing with your life or what the best path forward is, ask the angel of purpose to help you find your spark. When nothing makes sense or feels clear, allow them to remind you that meaning isn't necessarily found in your career, your relationships, or your hobbies. It is about living every moment to the full. Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, savoring the power of the present, knowing you are not alone and that everyone is connected by love is what gives life direction and purpose. To reconnect with your loving spark, set aside some time for stargazing. Look up at the night sky and allow feelings of awe to remind you that you are a child of this universe, no less than the trees and the stars. Your purpose is to live your precious life, to learn and evolve from every experience, and to reconnect to the loving and infinite energy within and all around you. I know that's right, Spirit. Go ahead and give us some confirmation, baby, because I mean, that just wrapped it all up. That's what we just talked about. Hey, Gath Radio, thank you so much for joining the live, love. So yes, y'all, I want to thank y'all so much for being a part of my life today. I send y'all so much love, okay? And I will catch up with y'all on the next live. Peace and love.